Dominant chords, one of the most misunderstood chord types. Probably because there's just so many variations of them. So let me help you cut through the noise and finally get some clarity on this. This is a G7. You type G7 into Google and this is what you'll get. Using the standard voicing for G7 is like cracking an egg into a pan and then cooking it without applying any spices whatsoever. Classic and appropriate for some situations, but there is so much more potential for flavor here. You see, because of the instability of the dominant chord due to the tritone, it has the capacity to hold almost any tension or combination of tensions in existence. Flat 9, 9, sharp 9, sharp 11 or flat 5, flat 13, 13. Now I don't know about you, but that seems like a lot of options to consider. So here's where the issue comes in. You can't just take any tension and then pop it on any dominant chord and just call it a day. There's an order to things, and in order to really finesse a situation, a musical situation, you need to be extremely intentional. Okay, y'all know that was funny. You see, the standard tension choices on a dominant chord will always depend on the function of that dominant chord. Is it of 5/7 of 4, 5/7 of 2, sub 5/7? In simplified terms, what is the root of the dominant chord in relation to the key? So let's break this down. I'm going to put some of these tensions into two distinct groupings: a neutral tension set and a dark tension set. On the neutral side, we have 9 and 13. Meanwhile, on
the dark side, we have
flat 9, sharp 9, and flat 13. So now that we have these two groupings, most of the time I can simplify things by just saying, oh, this dominant chord gets a neutral tension set, or hey, this dominant chord gets a dark tension set. Again, dependent on the location of that dominant chord inside of the key. Now, there's a couple different layers of explanation I can give you for this, so let me start with the easiest. Okay, here goes. Neutral tension sets most naturally belong on dominant chords that are expected to go down a fifth to a major chord. On the other hand, dark tension sets are most natural to dominant chords that are expected to go down a fifth, resolve down a fifth to minor based chords. Just listen to this. Smooth, right? So in terms of execution, how do you execute this stuff? It turns out there's actually a really sick voicing technique that you can use to play this stuff right out the box. You can find it inside of any jazz harmony textbook, and it goes by a lot of different names, but I personally call them A-B voicings, and these structures can be memorized. Let's take the example of a progression in the key of B flat, E flat major 9, D7, G minor 11. The transition I like to look at here, of course, is the D7 resolving to the G minor 11, because the D7 is where we will be applying the voicing. In the relationship of D7 to G minor 11, the D7 is resolving down by fifth to the G minor 11, which is the expected resolution here. So let me ask you, since the expected resolution here is a minor chord, what do you think we should put on the dominant chord? What kind of tension set would we put on this dominant chord? Exactly, apply a dark tension set. So let's switch that voicing out. Instead of a plain D7, we now have D7, sharp 9, flat 13. Listen to this. Smooth, right? You wouldn't believe how many songs there are that you already listen to that use this voicing. All you got to do is find them. Now let's look at an example of this D7, but with neutral tensions instead. So let's just say that we're in the key of D. The progression is D major 7, A minor 7, D7, and G major 7, where D7 is the chord that we are trying to spice up. The expected resolution of this D7 is a G major 7, which is a major-based structure. So let's switch out the voicings. Neutral tensions, here we go. Clean, right? Well, I gotta go for now, but if you like this and you want some more in-depth training on this kind of thing, drop me a line in the comments and I will be in touch.